Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For the one who don't know me, my name is Diana Huk and I am a fashion enthusiast. I make reports about fashion weeks, fashion designers, some interviews. I create content for fashion brands. I've been in the industry for a while and this season was particularly interesting, fall winter 2024-2025. Because I did not attend it in person. I watched everything from my couch, and that's why I call it a couch vlog. Because normally when I do a review of fashion weeks or create fashion trends, I do it in kind of vlog way. So now it's going to be only me talking about Milan Fashion Week. But I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you appreciate it. I also hope that we can have some engagement over here. I want to hear your opinion about what you like, what you don't like. It's very valuable for me. This is not a one-way direction. I really want some interaction. I want to see those comments. I'm super curious about what people out there think about this Milan Fashion Week. For me, this one was very interesting. It was one of the best from the previous season, if you can compare that. And I will explain you why. Of course, this is mainly my opinion. I wasn't there physically. I couldn't interview the designers to get the idea behind. That's mainly what I think. Take it as valuable information, but don't think this is the only one truth, right? Always stay very critical to everything. That's just some general life advice. Wow, it's going to be a fashion reporter, life advisor. No, I'm kidding. This one is going to be only about fashion. And when people tell me, oh, fashion week is so boring, the seasons are so boring, yes, I get it that ready to wear may not be your favorite one. You want to see some couture, you want to see like McQueen, right? In the time when Lee McQueen was in charge. I totally understand it. But look at this from the other way. Ready to wear is created for people like us, 9-to-5ers, who need to wear something to work. So, of course, you can have like a very interesting style and you can stand out like in your company. I totally get it. But mostly all of us are just having a very casual style. We don't go overdressed to our work. So I do understand when fashion people say this is so boring. I get it. But for the other people, this is perfect to wear. And that's why I wanted to explain that yes, this collection doesn't have something wow, but it's all about like bringing maybe some new shapes or new colors into the season to still feel like special. And if you tell me fashion, is it really important? Yes, like look at yourself right now. Probably you're wearing something if you go to the grocery store or if you go jogging, if you go to work again, or if you're just going to school or having casual lunch with your friends. So yes, we do need fashion because each moment of the day we try to dress something else. And of course, I'm not talking about all of us, there are some exceptions, but like take it as an interesting subject. Just try to get to know that. You know, I'm not a tech person, but I'm interested about everything what's going on with AI and metaverse and so on. So just be curious. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. And yes, it's just ready to wear, literally what the definition means. But let's start with that because I've been talking for 5 minutes and then we didn't get anywhere. So, Milan Fashion Week. Milan Fashion Week has just started after already like London and New York. It's already the third week. People are like getting a little bit exhausted, but they're still like doing fine. And now you have like the beginning, the first day, Wednesday, it's the first day. And you realize that the first show needs to be outstanding, fabulous, because that's going to create the whole mood of the week, you know? And iceberg is one of the first ones. So If Iceberg does a good job, people will be in a good mood. If Iceberg does a bad job, people will be in a bad mood. Correct or not correct? Something to mention, I didn't discuss all of the brands. I was very selective. I have already like probably 15 brands, not only in the well-known brands. I'm discussing only also like emerging designers, but runaway. These are not presentations wise, only runaways. Why did I have like specific choice for some of the designers? Well, first of all, I'm discussing design if there's something interesting to discuss. If I don't discuss this designer, it means there wasn't something very interesting. Take it and process this information for yourself. Second of all, for some of the emerging designers, I am collaborating with 2 magazines, Ray magazine and Jamak magazine, and they have the access. So my partner, who went to the shows, and after I could do like post-production for the magazines, it's the whole team, I would say it like that. We work with the whole team, it's an amazing team. So okay, no, let me rephrase me again. My choice of a specific choice of some designers was based on 2 aspects. One, if I don't discuss designer, there wasn't something interesting for me, in my opinion. 2, there are some emerging designers that I discuss, and I get to know them because I work with 2 magazines. Even though I was not there physically, I could do the post-production. I was working with my amazing team that was like killing it in Milan and Paris, and they had like some very interesting designers, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, I want to talk about that, since I was already like doing the post-production for those designers. So that's my choice basically. So let's start with Iceberg. Iceberg, it was his 15th anniversary this season. So of course the creative director needs to come like with something very interesting. I am going to look at the pictures because I don't remember everything from my hand. I need to look at it and we will discuss it together, and I will put it here. Iceberg. In my opinion, Iceberg is a sport brand, was a sport brand. But now Iceberg is so sophisticated, it's so elegant, and his ready-to-wear collection was amazing. It was like literally ready to wear, and they're very focused on knitwear. So if you look on the designs, like for example this mustard yellow knitwear, it looks gorgeous, you know. The other ones as well, that one is particularly beautiful. I am not very crazy about the pantless looks that they presented, but I do get that they probably did this pantless look just because they want to mainly focus on upper body, which I get. But for me, pantless looks, passé. Say composite, darlings, I don't want to see that anymore, but that's just my opinion, right? I'm not very crazy about that. Iceberg had a very, like you could say that this is a winter collection because the colors were on the darker side. Gray, dark brown, easy black. You see a lot of plaid as well. That's amazing. Like this dark green is particularly beautiful. Again, gray, but this one, very beautiful. I love it. Like matching cardigan and bag and a coat in the same pattern. Looks like plaid, but I think it's something even more different than plaid. This yellow is also very interesting. You have the mustard yellow, but you have also this yellow. So in overall, it's a beautiful collection. Not that there is something like, whoa, very crazy, no. But it's very verbal, it's very beautiful. Focus on knitwear, of course. The accents of this knitwear everywhere. So what can I say? Nothing crazy for fashion people, but very wearable for 9-to-5ers, right? Like just in general, this Milan Fashion Week was particularly interesting because all of designers went like to the same idea, and the idea was time-based. They were questioning themselves like, what is going on with time? Where are we now? What is going to be happening in the future? Like these questions were, you could see that. Oh, let me just put this because I see okay. So in general, you could trace this time-based aspect in like all of the brands, because even for Iceberg it was its 50th anniversary, so they went to the roots of the identity of Iceberg, but they also stayed with something very new, more like sophisticated brand. Why I want to discuss Diesel? Because Diesel, I call it a democratic brand. fashion democratic brand. They always try to stay very close to their audience, and they do it in a very engaging and beautiful, I mean, in a very crazy even way. So last season they were like giving away tickets. This season they actually gave the access to the public, and they did like a live stream 3 days before the show of Diesel, and people could watch how the preparation is going. And there is a really cool Netflix show, 7 Days Before, I think it's called, and there was an episode of Chanel is doing the same. So I could say like, oh, that's really nice, but in the case of Chanel, that wasn't live, you know, that was no live stream. It came way after post-production, and they could like edit the things, see like, oh no, we don't want to show this or that. So that's something different. For Diesel it was a live stream. So listen, when you do live stream of your collection, I mean of your show, it's not only public could watch it, also your competitors could watch it. No, I mean, that's so risky. How do you know that? But okay, they took risk, and I want to applaud them for that. Like, very cool, very cool. Diesel is always so interesting. Glenn Martens does a really good job in that. If you look at the clothing, it's very Diesel. We see plate as well and transparent details. It's also very dark oriented. In the next episode I will discuss Paris, and you will see there are some differences with Paris. Like if you compare Milan and Paris, Milan is more dark oriented. I'm not very crazy. There's one look that I'm not very crazy about in Diesel, and it's this one. Like the pattern, the flower pattern and the animal pattern, it looks a little bit like Roberto Cavalli. But listen, who am I? When designers create a collection, you know, it's not only physically that you have to work hard, it's also mentally. Because when people like me or the other one are going to say like, what is this about? What is this about? They will read it. Of course they do. But you know, these critics constantly criticizing, it's not good at all. So I have such a big respect for designers as people who choose to become a designer as a career. Like, nothing can beat them. For me, doctors and designers in the same category, it's very hard. There was a look that I really loved, and actually it's this fur, two of them, and this fur incorporated in a dress. It's done in a very like funny way. It's a faux fur, by the way, so very cool. In general, Diesel stayed in the same core identity as Iceberg stayed also in the same core identity. It wasn't very like crazy, but it's done in the proper way. The next one is Delcourt. And I'm a fan of Delcourt, to be honest. I hope that more stylists will pull it out. Like, Delcourt is such an interesting brand. It's not about time for Delcourt, it was about nature, like last season as well. And this time the inspiration was about insects. And if you think about insects, you don't think that it's something very beautiful, crazy, wow, stunning. No, insects as an inspiration. But Delcourt did it. And when I saw the collection, I was like, wow. I didn't know about the insects first. I was just very pleased to watch the collection. Very sophisticated, elegant. This draping done in a beautiful way. And listen, I was following the fashion course about like fashion management. There was a speaker, a guest. He came to explain the draping. And it's actually very hard because you don't want to waste a lot of material. You also want to let the person feel comfortable in this draping, because draping is about no cutting. You just drape the material over the body. Well, first, it needs to be comfortable. You don't want to waste material, and it needs to look good, right? So when I see designers using draping, I appreciate it, really. Oh, this look. Then you think about insects, right? But it's so cool. I love this tailored suits. Again, if you look very closely, it's like the beehives, the reference to insects. And that one, it's like the queen of bees. I would say it like that. Very beautiful. I love Delcourt. Next one, Roberto Cavalli. And why I chose Roberto Cavalli? I chose it because this fall winter, and normally Roberto Cavalli are always like exotic, and you have the animal prints and etc. But that time Roberto Cavalli had the print, but it looked like marble. very unusual, very cool. They still stayed like in their core identity of Roberto Cavalli, but the print was very interesting. It was an animal print, and I was very pleased about that. Italy is very well known for marble, so I get it. And overall, the collection was very beautiful. For the fans of Roberto Cavalli, I think it's this puffer jacket, amazing. Yeah, like 10 out of 10, nothing to say. Okay, let's move to Anteprima. Anteprima, their collection this season was cyberpunk elegance, and I could see cyber, and I could see punk, and I could see elegance, literally. The designer was questioning itself about the eyes, so future, right? And how we deal with that. And they did it in a very beautiful and interesting way. The collection has a lot of like shimmery effects, silver, glitters, a lot of liquid leather. It looks like it's wet. What else? Blue. Oh, it's like cobalt blue, outstanding blue, love it. I was very pleased to edit that reel for Anteprima because you saw the idea of the show and you saw the collection and it's coordinated. Very well done. And the next one, Prada. Why I chose Prada? I chose Prada for Raf Simons, to be honest. I think Raf Simons and Miuccia Prada are such a good combination. And in their collection, it was about the time. It was the Prada Romance, was the name of the collection. They were expressing feelings through clothing, and you could literally see that. So podium that was made from glass, and under you could see like flowers, I believe, and the models were walking in that. And when I first saw the collection, it was so Prada, but also the hats are really, really cool, I'm not gonna lie. But it looked like it came from previous years. Very sophisticated, very elegant, very like ready to wear. And Prada is always a question themselves. What are the clothing for? What is our purpose here? I really love their previous collection for spring summer 2024, the same for 2024 fall winter. A sentence that I found really cool from the press release, and it's past is a tool to learn, used to invent something new. So the next designer, I was so curious to watch that one. And if you ask me my top 3, Tom Ford is going to be my top 3. Honestly, I really love that. Since we have like already a second season, a new creative designer, Peter Hawkins, and he worked with Tom Ford himself for like about 25 years. You could see that he really respects Tom Ford as a designer and as a brand, and he did it so beautifully. Like, oh my god, this collection was like really one of my best, one of the most exciting collections, to be honest. And it was all about like glamour, fabulousness. It's so beautiful, like the cocktail dresses, just outstanding, you know. It's not, of course, for your maybe workday, but in general, it's so like daring, but at the same time, it's not too much, you know. It's perfect. It was just perfect. So very sensual collection. I love that. Like 10 out of 10. It's my style. Peter Hawkins, good job. Beautiful. Next one, Dots. We had a new creative director, Matteo Tamburini, and he moved from Bottega Veneta, I think it was, yeah, Bottega Veneta. And well, you know, Bottega Veneta is famous for leather, so for him moving from one leather company to another one, Dots is very well known for shoes as a leather company. That was a very safe choice, I would say, because he had already experience with leather as a material, as a production, as ideas, right? And Dots, you don't think about ready-to-wear for Dots. Think more about Dots when you like think about shoes. But Dots has a really good ready-to-wear collection, and they could like give you an idea about the combination from leisure to your work-life balance. It was all about that. The photo shoot of the new collection was created in a very old tram in Milano. I love that. Then you see the collection, it's very variable. I could pull it out for just a work day. So the idea like about the leisure and the work is perfectly translated in this collection, and I love their shoes. But of course, they're very famous for their shoes, so you'll see that. And the bags were also outstanding. Sport Max. I chose Sport Max because I also really loved the collection, editing for the reel. And Sportmax, their collection was inspired by Camera Obscura. And Camera Obscura has like two meanings, if I'm not mistaken. It's a dark room and it's also like an optical device. So I found it very interesting to the idea, combining in design. And when I saw the collection, it was very dark, really dark, with some red and blue details. And the designer wanted to the imagination run free. And 10 out of 10, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, also something about totes. I really loved the double shirts. It's something that I will wear as well in this season. Gucci with Sabato De Sarno is going pretty well. When he first entered as a new creative director at Gucci, it was very questionable, but now he created his style and he's staying like with the style of Gucci as he sees that. Gucci is about like sophistication, and he combined also these ugly colors, how you could wear that. And of course you could see the Ancora red, the color that it's the Gucci color now. Gucci has a very good marketing, so if you can think about that Ancora red, you directly think about Gucci. It's the same for green. As you think about that particular green, then you can think about Bottega Veneta. So it's a really good marketing move. What do we see? We see the coats with the masculine silhouettes. We also see some embroideries, lace, cuts, a lot of velvet, and I really love her horse riding boots. Very cool, actually. And the sets were also really nice. The next one, MSGM. And MSGM was inspired by two things. And that's the Belgian designer Jan de Vlier, and we can see that like in some of the designs. And the other one is the screenwriter Truman Capote, about like freedom of femininity, if I'm not mistaken. I can also see that it's all about like the body that is actually free, and this is also women's collection, so I can really get it. I also really love the Mary Jane shoes, but done it like in a different way. Very stunning. Versace. To not discuss Versace would be very pity, because Versace is such a good established brand. And also the supermodels that you can spot in a fashion show, you can only spot at Versace fashion show. And maybe that's when we go back to the history and when Gianni Versace started and he was taking all the supermodels, and it was like Gianni Versace and supermodels like were growing together. So I kind of understand why supermodels still attend Versace as a fashion show. They gave the priority to Versace, and it's stunning, you know. Versace is just Versace. Donatella Versace does a really good job. A lot of respect for Gianni Versace. She keeps the identity of the brand. She's also very kind to models. I saw some videos. It's very cool. It's very cool that you can have this bond with models as well, because models, I mean, at the end of the day, they're doing hard job. You guys, you can even believe how is it to be a model, to be all the time like rejected or just like run from one show to another show. When I was working as a stylist assistant for Anne Mullemeister, and there was a model, she was done, you know, she just disappeared suddenly right before the show. So I understand the pressure, I totally do. So, and Versace is also no minimalism, you know, she's not about that. And you can see that in the other brands, no, Versace is not about that. So she taps already into another market, which is really good. All right, next one, probably very, very, very also one of the top three. It's Ferragamo. Ferragamo also started as a shoe company, but now they're so well known for their clothing, and with the current designer Maximilian Davis, it goes very well. I mean, I love that. That collection was focused on the 1920s, and you can, if you remember, 1920s were all about like glamorousness. It was one of the best time. It was, everyone was glowing, you know. Royal 20s. What else can we say? Well, parties, great think about Great Gatsby, you know. His main colors were dark oriented, like olive, brown, not very like pastel colors. A lot of cocktail dresses, of course, and the big coats to hide yourself. Very cool. And the particular look that I really loved was the red fish dress, as I could say. I watched the video after the show and I was shocked that it's a leather, but it's a leather and it looks so delicious. Ferragamo did a really good job. Congratulations. Last one is Bottega Veneta. And Bottega Veneta has a very, very beautiful history in general. And as a brand has survived a lot of downs, to be honest. We can see that it's now up. It was a good fashion week. It was an excellent fashion week actually for a lot of designers with their collections, because everyone was pretty pleased. But the things that I spotted on Bottega Veneta were new things, you know, so it was more outstanding. So it's also my top 3. What about Bottega Veneta that we saw something new? First of all, round based coats. So this round shape on the shoulder, very beautiful. This dress is also particularly interesting. This one is also very beautiful. This one, wow, the color, it's stunning. This coat, how cool is that? I was really dying to like see that in real life. Pants, I'm just saying, my god, you know what I mean. Maybe that's something that we were like, searching for. Make it wearable but interesting. Bottega Veneta did a really good job on that. Also that one, stunning. Prints, wow, again, very beautiful. Bottega Veneta was a very beautiful collection, ladies and gentlemen, and I was so happy to see that. So I guess that is going to be my honest review. It was more like a personal review. Again, I want to hear your opinion. I'm very curious what you think about this Milan Fashion Week. For me, it was a very successful fashion week. It was very wearable. Maybe for some of you it's boring, but in general, I like that. Yeah, I am curious to review Paris. Paris is Paris, you know, like each city has its own vibe and style, and Paris is also particularly interesting to review. I will do that in next episodes, so stay tuned. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, whatever, it doesn't matter. Doing this from bottom of my heart, and I appreciate you watching until the end, and I hope you have an amazing day. See you next time.